Hi, folks. This is Dr. Mack Jackson Jr., and today we're going to discuss some questions that you as a consumer have about cybersecurity. Here's some questions that have been sent to us, and I'm going to give you an answer to them.
So the first one is, I keep hearing about these romance scams. How can I tell if someone online is actually trying to scam me or if I'm just being paranoid?
Very good. Folks, romance scams are on the rise, and they're on the rise for several different reasons because of technology. And the elephant in the room is AI, artificial intelligence, right? Having fake bots set up as a person that might be interested in you is now created by AI. And I'd recommend that if you are talking to someone online, try to see if they're close to your demographics or where you're located, and do it the old-fashioned way. Meet them for coffee, see them face to face. Avoid catfishing as well.
Next question. My dad is in his 70s and loves clicking links in emails. What's the best way to help him without sounding like a jerk?
Well, the best way I would say again is to vet out any types of emails that you would see, that you would get from online, and never click on any links that you're not familiar with. Always vet out everything first before you click on anything. That's why we should have a constant meeting with our families, getting them together and discussing the possibilities. If there was an earthquake or if there was a flood, what should you do? Where should you meet if the power went out in your home? Those type of emergency operations that now families are concerned with, they still should be concerned the same way when it comes to cyber threats.
Do you offer those kind of meetings?
Absolutely. What we do with our company, Vanderson Cyber Group, is we meet with families. That's right, everyone in your family, from your 6-year-old to your 80-year-old grandmother, and we discuss possible threats that can happen and what hackers will do to try to extort them. And we work with the families to come up with ways to protect themselves. In other words, to be a cyber prepper.
Question 3. I saw this thing about kids getting targeted by scammers. How are they doing it, and what can parents do today to stop it?
So yes, this is a really interesting question about scammers that are now involved in our young children's online activities. They can be invited when your child are playing games on their computer systems at night. Folks, this is very dangerous. You can live in a gated community. In some places here in Las Vegas, we have double gated communities. You have big mansions that your children are in their bedroom with their door locked and their iPads are out. And you can have a burglar or a robber be able to come in and attack your child digitally through the internet. We must have ways to protect your children from this. So there are things that you can do. And what we have done with our company is to introduce parents to third-party organizations and third-party software that parents can use to monitor the type of activities that their children are doing online. This is one step in protecting. But folks, the most important step is the art of communication and talking with your children and listening.
Are those toll road scam texts really dangerous, or is it just spam?
It really depends. They could be very dangerous. Hackers have lots of different ways to enticing people and scaring people. That's why we call our events Hacking the Human. Folks, it's not about code and software anymore and writing illegal software to try to bring a company down. It's getting the individual that you are talking to give you their information. So definitely it needs to be vetted. You need to just take a moment to think first before you click on a link or before you give anyone any sensitive information about your family organization.
Is hacking really that easy? My kids know not to talk to strangers and have secure passwords.
Folks, I'm telling you, our kids are becoming even more curious. And I was that way myself when I mentioned before when I started out in computers, I was 14, and it was definitely different back in the day, technology, than it is now. But we're always curious of wanting to tinker and find the curiosity of wanting to expand our horizons when it comes to technology. And kids today would definitely do that. Folks, do you know that there are kids now that have apps that are like a calculator, right? A calculator program. So when the parents look at their phones or their smart devices, they're seeing that their child has an app that's a calculator. But they enter a certain mathematical formula and it opens up to an underground SMS messaging. They can message back and forth without the parents knowing about it. Yes, law enforcement found out this information and we're sharing it with parents. So things of this nature, it's all about curiosity. We have to have these conversations with our children.
Small business owner, what's the one thing I should do this week to better protect my customers' information?
Well, folks, like we say to all our clients, your first line of defense is your password. Your password, it's like having that key to your house, that main master key to your home. The first line of defense. And you need to make sure that your password is something that is very difficult for hackers to hack into. It should be long. It should be upper, lowercase, special characters. And, well, you can find out more about that by going to my website and learning about password management. But you should have definitely a password. Now, you should also have a unique password for every website that you visit, a unique password. Never use the same password. So this involves having lots of different passwords. Folks, the average user now has about 150 to 200 different websites that they visit, and therefore you should have 200 different passwords. Never write your password down on a piece of paper or have a spreadsheet for it. You should use a password manager. This software will allow you to collect all of your passwords and encrypt them for you, thereby making it harder for hackers to get to your password because they are encrypted. But how will you remember to get into your password manager? At the hierarchy of getting into your system, don't use a password, use a passphrase. Folks, a passphrase is something very simple. It could be an English sentence, something that you and your family could understand, but again, making it harder for the hackers. And again, if you're in a family household, you have your 8-year-old and your 80-year-old grandmother there, a passphrase is much easier than having a long password where they need to write it down. So folks, my advice is definitely have a password manager. That's the first line of defense for any small business and family operation. Folks, there's so many different scams that are out there. The best way is to definitely join forums or contact the Federal Trade Commission, our government agencies. If you think that you've had your information stolen from a hacker, the first line of defense is contact your local police department and file a police report. That's the first level, first thing you should do. Secondly, then you should then file it with your state, local, and federal operations as well. But when you do file that police report with your local law enforcement, they will give you instructions of how to take it to the next level. And there are other things you should do as well, especially if your information has been compromised from your financial institutions, also like getting new checking accounts and things of that nature. But I want to let you know that if you ever do get hacked, folks, it's not like it's a one-time operation. They will try again and sell your data to another group of hackers that will try to attack you 6 months later. So you need to put in systems within your household and your business to protect yourselves.
Is all my information really online, and how can I remove it?
Yes, your information is online. This is a very good question. Is all your information online? Yes, folks. Unfortunately, as of 2025, all of your information, and matter of fact, most of you that are listening to this mini-series right now, I could tell you that your information has been hacked currently. There's been a major data breach. Over 16 billion, folks. That's 16 billion email addresses have been stolen. And that's about 8 email addresses from every human being on the planet. And there's a database that has all the information about all of us. So we need to protect ourselves from this. But what you could do, the first step, folks, is to lower your digital footprint online. The best way to do that is to remove yourselves from data brokers. Now, the term data brokers, what that is, folks, these are organizations that collect your information and they sell it to advertisers that in turn sell you information, send it through for emails. You may get brochures in the mail, advertising, things of that nature. You can remove yourselves from these data brokers like more companies are doing, especially countries that is, especially in Europe. You contact data broker remover services, and they have a mandate by our federal government to remove your information from their databases upon your request. And they must do this or they could be fined. Folks, I've seen it work, and it definitely does work. So that's the first line of defense, is remove yourself from these data brokers. But again, folks, you have to continually doing this. It's not a one-time thing. You need to check it every year to see if your information is out there. If it is, get it removed again.
Why would someone want to hack my email and or social media?
Folks, people want to hack you because information, your information, is the new currency. Who you are as an American citizen, your existence out there, if you have a social security number, a birth certificate, you are a data asset, which is worth lots of money, thousands of dollars to hackers. And they will hack you and try to sell your information to other criminals and scammers.
And then final question. What's the most creative or unexpected scam you've ever seen so far?
The most creative, unexpected scam that I've seen so far has to do with the elephant in the room I mentioned earlier, folks, in my mini-series, and that is AI. AI is an angel and a devil at the same time, right? AI is good for productivity, and we're looking forward to all the amazing things that we can create by using AI. However, the bad guys have taken AI and made it evil as well. Those are the scam. And here's a scam from it, folks. Did you know that you can take a picture of a stranger that you've seen walking down the street with your smartphone and create an AI image of this individual that doesn't even exist, didn't even happen, and then have this person blackmailed or extorted for information? So we must protect ourselves. Anything that we see in video nowadays, we must look at it with a skeptical eye, thinking that this could possibly be unreal and not true, and have it vetted first, just like we did everything else. Thank you very much for joining for this mini-series, Dr. Mack Jackson Jr. I really appreciate all of you here. If you'd like to find out more about how to protect your business, your family from the fastest growing crimes of the 21st century, and that is cyber attacks, you could find me on my website, on all my social media, including YouTube as well. Again, it's vandersoncybergroup.com or mackjacksonjr.com. Thank you, folks. Stay safe.